In Joplin involving a motorized bicycle and a sheriff's deputy.
The heat is on yet again across the 4 states, but there's relief on the way. We'll tell you about it in the Skywatch Weather Center.
And the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is out. We take a closer look at the fallout after his resignation.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Joplin Police Major Crash Team investigates an accident involving a Newton County Sheriff's deputy. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, a deputy's SUV collides with a motorized bicycle, sending its rider to the hospital. The crash happened shortly after 2 a.m. near East 32nd and South Finley Streets in Joplin. The officer on the scene says both the Newton County Tahoe and the motorized bike were traveling eastbound. No word yet on the cyclist's condition. Investigators say a fire last week at Joplin's old Carnegie Library building is arson. Authorities say someone started the fire around 5 in the morning on June 30th. The building has significant damage in the basement, along with fire and smoke damage to the upper 3 floors. JPD released surveillance images of the suspect leaving the scene on a bike, and police are asking for the public's help to identify this individual. Liberty Electric issues a peak energy advisory for its customers. This week's extreme heat is resulting in high energy demand. Utility is asking customers to voluntarily reduce electricity use from noon to 8 p.m. both today and tomorrow. They recommend temperatures set around 78 degrees. Well, an AC set at any temperature is better than facing the heat outside. And Chris Warner joins us with a first look at the hotter than hot forecast.
It is hotter than hot yet again today, and it's still going to be pretty hot come tomorrow. Skywatch Storm Tracker, real quick, wanted to show you. We did have some storms early this morning up around Nevada and Butler, Missouri. They are gone. We've had these showers popping up, nothing significant. Otherwise, some overcast skies, but we're really not going to see any relief from this heat. Now, up in Nevada, where they did see some rain, it's a little bit cooler. It's 87. The rest of us sitting in the lower 90s. And once you toss in the dew point and the humidity, the heat index value that we get right now, we're all pretty much approaching 100 degrees. 100 degrees at the noon hour, and it's going to continue to go up. As we head through the evening, though, temperatures will fall off slightly into the mid-80s for the majority of us. And you see this little thunderstorm icon. That's because there's a slight chance of a scattered storm for some of us, but most of us, unfortunately, are going to stay dry. We also do have an excessive heat warning that is in effect until midnight for everybody in southeast Kansas and everybody in southwest Missouri, hence the whole situation with the Liberty Peak Alert, as they used to be called when we were a little bit younger, back in the day, but it's because it is going to be excessively hot across the area, and with the temperatures continuing to rise, we're heading for heat index values of about 110 this afternoon, and then we're going to kind of repeat this tomorrow, but a cold front is going to come in tomorrow, and it's going to change our temperatures, and it's also going to change some of those heat index values, at least temporarily. We'll break it all down a little bit later in the full forecast.
And you're right, Chris, they are calling it a peak energy alert, and that's when they're asking between 12 and 8 p.m. both today and tomorrow to refrain from using too much energy.
And of course, that's the peak heating of the day, so you got to do what you can to try and prevent any, blackouts or brownouts in the area and reduce your energy usage. It's tough because it's so hot, but you got to do it, conserve a little bit, and it helps a lot.
And there you go. All right, thanks, Chris. Well, a new report on the school massacre in Uvalde, Texas, confirms police could have stopped it before 19 children and 2 teachers were killed. One missed opportunity involved an officer who was armed with a rifle and had the gunman in sight as the shooter approached the school building but did not fire. Instead, the report indicates the officer asked his supervisor for permission to shoot the suspect. The supervisor either did not hear or responded too late. Another missed chance. The first officer arriving on scene might have seen the gunman and been able to prevent him from entering the building if he hadn't been driving so fast or instead approached on foot. The Texas Legislative Committee is also investigating and is expected to release its report soon. WNBA star Brittany Griner pleaded guilty today inside a Russian courtroom to drug charges. The U.S. says she is being wrongfully detained. Comes a few days after the 31-year-old basketball player wrote a letter directly to President Biden saying that she is, quote, terrified that she might be here forever, and pleaded with the president to do all he can to bring her and other American detainees home. The White House says the president responded with a phone call to Griner's wife, telling her he's working to ensure their release. But this morning, the Russian Foreign Ministry said it's difficult at the moment to engage in any kind of prisoner exchange with the United States. Well, after losing the support of his own Conservative Party members, embattled British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is stepping down. Johnson says the timetable for choosing a new leader will be announced next week. Ian Lee has the latest from London.
Anyone expecting Boris Johnson to resign in tears would be disappointed. In typical fashion, the 58-year-old Conservative came out swinging.
I'm immensely proud of the achievements of this government. It is clearly now the will of the Parliamentary Conservative Party that there should be a new leader of that party and therefore a new Prime Minister.
The Prime Minister defended his time in office.
Getting us all through the pandemic, delivering the fastest vaccine rollout in Europe, the fastest exit from lockdown, and in the last few months, leading the West in standing up to Putin's aggression in Ukraine.
During those 3 years, Johnson brushed aside scandal after scandal, but the latest controversy had members of his own party sharpening their knives. Several men accused government official Chris Pincher of groping, which Johnson denied knowing when he appointed him to the role. He later admitted he lied, leading to an avalanche of resignations.
Long overdue, I would say. Yeah, he's been struggling for months, telling lies, misleading everybody.
Johnson did express some remorse that he didn't complete everything he set out to do when he swept to power in 2019.
I want you to know how sad I am to be giving up the best job in the world. But them's the breaks.
Johnson says he'll remain in office until a new prime minister is chosen. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, we've got tips to protect your home against hackers. And later, we're making raspberry cream danishes in the Mr. Food Test kitchen. Smart home devices can turn on our lights, order our groceries, and much more. But all of those high-tech gadgets can be used against us, too. Juan Fernandez explains.
Hey Siri, turn all the lights on.
Evan King is a smart stuff fanatic. In his home, smart deadbolts, thermostats, entertainment.
This is a smart fridge. This is a Furbo, which is a dog treat camera.
We initially met Evan at Consumer Watchdog, where he works as Chief Technology Officer. He was taking a break to check in on his dog, Chloe.
Nothing my dog would like more than more treats.
As much as he loves spoiling Chloe, the same camera that connects him to her
It may also allow a nefarious person to check in on your house.
Smart homes are eminently hackable.
Carmen Balber is Evan's boss and executive director of Consumer Watchdog.
There are databases of home camera feeds online.
And cameras are only one of the more obvious threats. Any gadget that connects to the internet can store and reveal a treasure trove of data. A lesser-known security threat, smart light bulbs. These connect to your phone or to a home hub so you can turn them on and off remotely. A possible issue here, they also store information, like your passwords, in the base of the bulb.
If you throw that light bulb out, someone can just pick it up and they've got all your information right there in your trash can.
So how do you hack-proof your home? It starts with strong passwords, a different one for every account.
One of the easiest ways for hackers to get into your home is if you don't change the factory set passwords on your device.
Before getting rid of anything connected to your phone or Wi-Fi, clear out your data, starting with your router itself.
If a hacker has access to your Wi-Fi network, they might potentially have access to your computer, your passwords, your credit card accounts.
To wipe it,
As simple as just putting a paperclip into a reset button on the back.
you can reset a smart bulb.
Via the app that you use to configure them.
Anytime a connected device is vulnerable in your home, everything else on that network is also vulnerable.
So be selective about what you connect. Juan Fernandez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
What is the secret to turning your kitchen into a French bakery? The answer is simple, and it's waiting for you in the freezer aisle.
But first, Chris Warner returns with your complete forecast.
It's hot outside. This is kind of like yesterday. You know, I said when you're looking out here off our tower cam from 7th and Range Line, it doesn't look hot. In fact, with some of the high clouds, it actually looks like it might be somewhat cool outside. But it only applies if you're inside in an air-conditioned building. It's fine, yeah, it's cool outside. But if you take a look at what the temperatures are, it's not cool outside. It is 93 with some high clouds. Feels like 99 already at this noon hour, and temperatures are going to continue to go up. Now, some of us have seen some rain showers, Yates Center, Iola, Fort Scott, Nevada, or you've seen a bit more cloud cover because of nearby rain showers, so they're a little cooler. But everybody else is getting into the lower 90s, and those temperatures will continue to climb. Dew points, they're still what's killing us. If you take a look across the board, we are sitting in the upper 60s to lower 70 dew points, and that comes into that muggy, sticky range and creeping up on the soupy side, and that's why these feels-like temperatures are less than pleasant. So even though Yates Center, man, they've got something going on because they have an 88-degree temperature and a 95-degree heat index. Some of that's associated with those showers because they put off some moisture, and then that starts to evaporate, and that contributes to the humidity. Check out Commerce, 101, 100 in Chatopa. We are creeping into the lower 100s, and that's why we have that excessive heat warning that does remain in effect through midnight tonight. So once this thing recycles, you'll see the showers and storms we were watching this morning around Butler and Nevada. They are gone. They are out of here. These showers are starting to fall apart across southeast Kansas. You can see where they tried really hard across Elk and Chautauqua County to hold on, and then they stopped being, and that's why this excessive heat warning in effect, as I mentioned, until midnight for everybody in southeast Kansas, everyone in southwest Missouri. These counties in Oklahoma, it's only until 8, and then they go back to a heat advisory like Ottawa County's under right now. As the temperatures continue to warm through the day, they're going to do the same thing again tomorrow. You can see we're not really going to cool off much tonight, starting the day around 80 degrees tomorrow before we head right back up to around 100. It is going to be a bit breezy still. There's been a breeze. The breeze is sticking around. These are just gusts, not the actual sustained breeze. But you can see we got gusts pushing upwards of 30 miles an hour in the next 24 hours. And speaking of the next 24 hours, you see these scattered storms? That's an association with a cold front that's going to come through. So by 9 a.m. tomorrow, we're not going to be nearly as hot as we had been, only because of some of those scattered showers. But it's still going to warm up. This is through the rest of today. Heading for a high in the lower 100s with some scattered storms. As we head further into tomorrow, as you can see, the temperatures still warm up, and that cold front, what it does is it brings the humidity levels down a little bit. Now, we're still going to have a heat index that's going to be less than pleasant tomorrow. So again, by later this evening, you can see most of us pushing 110, and as we head into tomorrow, we're not pushing quite as high, but we're going to be there, and it's going to be unpleasant to say the least. So we still have an alert day for today because of that excessive heat warning, but once that cold front settles through, temperatures drop heading into the weekend. By Sunday, they start to warm up again, and then the humidity will start to creep in again, because by midweek next week, we have another round of maybe some scattered showers and storms, and then we're going to get into a more comfortable trend for a little bit. It's still going to be hot, it's still going to be summertime, but compared to what we've seen, it's going to be a lot better as we head into the week ahead.
Mm-hmm. And the lights dim as you talk about
they're getting scared. You know, they're either scared or they're excited about the change in the forecast, or they're trying to bring the heat down themselves.
Yeah, we're entering that peak heating hours between, noon and 8. So
yeah, and don't forget
we got to dim our lights a little.
just a little bit, and we can get away with fewer lights, I think. Yeah. These things put off enough light. We're good.
Mood lighting. There you go.
Exactly.
All right, thanks, Chris. We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Purple Heart recipient Morris Forsyth in the U.S. Army. The soldier from Altoona, Kansas, joined the 2nd Cavalry, followed by the 12th Armored Division in 1941. In addition to the Purple Heart, the Tech Sergeant earned the Bronze Star, the Combat Infantry Badge, and the American Defense Medal while fighting in France. To Tech Sergeant Morris Forsyth, we thank you, our four-state hero. Well, thanks to shortcuts in the frozen bread aisle, making pastries like today's is a breeze. Today, Howard shows us how to make a raspberry cream Danish in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
When I first started my catering business years ago, one of my secret ingredients that I used in everything from hors d'oeuvres to the most decadent desserts was frozen puff pastry. It was so easy to use and the results were always amazing. So today I want to show you a simple bakery favorite that starts off with puff pastry and ends up with rave reviews. We unfold a sheet of thawed puff pastry and cut it into 9 squares. Then we fold each one in half, making a triangle. Now we cut 2 slits, about 1/4 of an inch away from the edge, like this, making sure the 2 cuts don't meet. Next, we unfold the triangle and fold the cut part back over it so it looks like this. We repeat this on the other side. Then we spoon a bit of our homemade cream cheese filling on the center and top it off with a fresh raspberry. Once they're all done, we bake them till the dough is golden and crispy. After these cool slightly, we dust them with some powdered sugar, and there you have it. A fancy treat that looks like it came from a French bakery, thanks to our secret ingredient, the puff pastry. The recipe for our raspberry cream Danish is online now, and we'll never let you down. I'm Monsieur Harwood in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a French secret ingredient way for you to say, c'est bon, which is another way to say, ooh, it's so good.
Love the hat. You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4-state market prices.
Hey, check it out. These are the future feels likes for later today, pushing 110, hence the excessive heat warning continues until midnight. Same thing tomorrow. It's going to be hot and humid and pushing 105, 106 degree heat indices, but some relief on the way in the 7-day forecast. Cold front comes through tomorrow, some scattered showers and stuff, but otherwise it's going to warm right back up for next week before we see another round of potential showers and thunderstorms. So.
Well, I'm looking forward to a little cool down, even if it means we're still in the 90s. At least it gets us out of those triple-digit temperatures.
Yeah, anything's better than that.
And we need to make sure the feels like stays down, too.
We're working on that.
We'll get there eventually. And then it'll be winter.
Yeah, and then we'll be missing this.
Right. All right. Well, coming up tonight at 5 in Health Watch, a focus on skincare. We look at how a lack of diversity in the dermatology field can lead to increased chances of misdiagnosis or lack of treatment. Plus, Joplin police report an increase of counterfeit funds across the metro, and the Empire Market is getting a makeover with a community kitchen. We'll explain. Join us for those stories and more tonight at 5.
And thanks for joining us for the KOAM News at Noon. We'll see you back here tomorrow.